Finding a cryptocurrency before it's 100x is extremely difficult to do if you don't know what you're looking for. Now, what actually constitutes a good cryptocurrency from one that will provide you with life-changing wealth? Well, let me take the guesswork out for you and provide you with one of those rare coins that is sure to make some waves in the space. Karura is a new cryptocurrency founded by an almost identical team to that of Acala. It's sister coin on Polkadot, which, by the way, I have made a video on, and I highly recommend you do watch that. The link will be at the top right-hand corner of the screen now. Now, Karura, similarly to Acala, is planning to be the all-in-one DeFi hub of Kusama, where it will host its own trustless staking derivative, which will allow users to access staked KSM tokens under LKSM, a multi-collateralized stablecoin also backed by cross-chain assets under the ticker kUSD, and an AMM DEX with micro gas fees that can be paid in any token. Now, it doesn't take a crypto whiz to understand that Kusama is one of the best blockchains currently available, as it offers substrate and also parachain options. With extremely fast TPS, the Swift governance model, and the security the network provides, pretty much means Kusama will remain one of the best blockchains in the cryptocurrency space for the future. So what if I came to you and told you that Karura is planning to micromanage all the DeFi needs on the Kusama network? And better yet, it's only a $75 million market cap. Well, wake up, people, because luckily for you, now is your chance to snag this fantastic opportunity. Well, hey everyone, my name's Kai and I hope you're all well. I'm back here with a brand new video, and this video is another 100x prediction video where I'm going to be covering Karura and its bullish features that make me want to invest in this coin so much. Now, if you are unfamiliar with my channel, I post 2 videos weekly. The first is on 100x cryptocurrency, and the second is on a review suggested by you guys, where I will review a coin, whether it's good, bad, or in between, rate it on my BSO meter, and then bring that to you. So without further ado, guys, let's talk a little bit more about Karura. And if you have seen my Acala video, I'm going to be breaking things down a little bit more in this video, but it's more or less the same, so feel free to skip ahead if you like. I'm going to put up on the screen now the link to where I actually go into the fundamentals of Karura. I just want to begin by putting things into perspective for everyone, okay? So the entire cryptocurrency DeFi market cap right now, at least, is only $114 billion, and that is just about 1/18 the size of Apple. Yes, Apple, the company's market cap, which theoretically is next to nothing. So over the next 5 to 10 years, DeFi should, at the very minimum, be 50 to 100x that $114 billion as the barriers to entry are lowered and the mass market begins to hopefully adopt cryptocurrency. So what I'm trying to get at here, everyone, is the fact that Kusama is a blockchain designed to be highly scalable and stand the test of time. Now, if we get a cryptocurrency that is embedded deep within its roots and being the DeFi point of call for the entire network, well, it's safe to say it will be something worth looking into. Now, at the start of the video, I brought some key features that Karura will be bringing to the ecosystem. However, I lightly touched on that and basically glossed over it. So I want to bring that to you now in a bit more detail. So first of all, let's start off with staying liquid while staking. Now, this allows the users to stake Kusama's KSM token for LKSM token to earn rewards without sacrificing liquidity. Now, LKSM tokens will be unlocked and available to trade, take out collateralized loans, and provide liquidity for additional yield. Now, this is exactly like the L. variant for Acala and obviously helps sustain the ecosystem while allowing the user to take full advantage of the benefits of the DeFi ecosystem. Now, next we have utilizing a cross-chain multi-collateralized stablecoin, and again, this is exactly like Acala's AUSD stablecoin, except Karura has developed their own stablecoin called kUSD that is also decentralized, multi-collateralized, and backed by cross-chain assets. Now, kUSD is a relative to the US dollar and will be marketed as the unofficial stablecoin of Kusama until it begins to grab some more attention. Now, you can take out loans for kUSD and even provide kUSD for liquidity on the Karura DEX to earn rewards. And then finally, we have the cross-chain DEX, and that is exactly what it sounds like. It is a trustless cross-chain decentralized exchange that is powered by an automated liquidity provisioning pool, which is fancy words for an AMM, and this is pretty much exactly like Uniswap. With all that being said, I want to quickly note that Karura is designed as a layer 1 protocol with modules actually built into the blockchain layer itself, rather than on top of the blockchain like other protocols such as Ethereum. Now, these modules include the foundations of the AMM DEX, kUSD stablecoin, and the liquidity staking program. I want you guys to see this as the back end of things. Now, you can see this layer as the layer 1 section, which will be on the screen now. And this layer also includes the Acala EVM bridge, which also allows Ethereum developers to easily develop their applications using Solidity onto Substrate. And as a benefit, this will mean that the users are susceptible to a feature called Bring Your Own Gas, which means you can complete any transfer with any token. Now, I'm not going to go into too much depth here as I need to keep the video length short. Now, on top of the actual blockchain, you have an additional layer of applications that are the front end of the modules I have just mentioned, which offers the user the actual swapping feature of the DEX, and earn feature, which uses kUSD to take out loans and becoming a liquidity provider, as well as liquid staking, which is the LKSM token being used in the DeFi ecosystem, while their underlying asset being the staked KSM token, still actually earning rewards for the user. Now, this is all built upon the layer 0 meta protocol, which is actually Kusama itself, allowing Karura to be introduced to the powers of parachain and security. Finally, I would like to mention the decentralized sovereign wealth fund, which actually works within the Karura treasury to help fund Karura in actually receiving a Kusama parachain slot. Now, to catch you guys up to speed, essentially for a cryptocurrency to be added as a Kusama parachain, it needs to secure a spot on the central relay chain, which is limited to a very, very small number, and therefore it works as an auction. Now, I'm fairly sure at the time of recording this, there are only 10 spots available, so hopefully that should put the limited availability into perspective. Even Kusama's own website deems this as pure chaos. Either way, these projects then continue to bid against each other in a candle auction format, which pretty much means the auction will stop at a randomly generated number, and the project that has the highest bid at the time will win that slot. So for funding, projects typically rely on the community to stake funds in the network, as this does get really expensive. The user's funds will be locked up for the length of time the parachain is being actively leased, and therefore means the user may have to wait a long time to actually receive their funds. Now, to make matters a whole lot more interesting, these slots can only be leased for a maximum of 2 years, and this typically means that these cryptocurrencies rely on more community funding to actually re-enter as a parachain. Now, relating this back to the decentralized sovereign wealth fund, Karura plans to collect all the fees associated with their DeFi projects over time and throw them back into this wealth fund. So rather than asking the community for these funds at the time the lease does expire, they will have a large amount of money to be able to throw in themselves and hopefully be able to sustain a new parachain slot without asking the community for any money. The tokens held for this exact purpose will be reserved as DSWF tokens and broken down as Decentralized Sovereign Wealth Fund. This is actually quite unique, as simple as this sounds, and is something else I also adore about Karura. They have actually created this beautifully, and is also something we can see with Acala. Now, again, I highly suggest you watch my video on that. The link will be at the top right hand corner of your screen now. And Acala has yet to come out, so take the time to watch that video and prepare yourself for an amazing launch. Now let's move into some of the fundamentals of Karura. Before we continue with the fundamentals, let me remind you guys, if you do enjoy my content, I'd like you to please like this video, subscribe with the notification bell turned on. It really does mean a lot to me, and I do appreciate your support. So let's get into the video. Now, the first thing I'd like to point out to you is the beautiful design of the logo. Now, this is very, very important in conjunction with the name of the cryptocurrency. It needs to be fitting and it needs to be attractive to investors. And I always bring this up in every single cryptocurrency I review. Now, I do love the logo of Karura. I think most of you guys also should agree with me on that one there. And the name Karura is unique, different, and I do like it. So as we can tell, the ticker, so how to find the coin, is KAR. Now that just pretty much stands for Karura. No hidden meaning behind that there. Now there is 20,000 people that have saved this on their coin market cap watch list, and an additional 11,000 people have also saved this on their CoinGecko watch list. Now this pretty much gives me an indication that there is people that are interested in it. Normally, if this number is in the 1 or 2,000s on either website, it tells me that there aren't a lot of eyes on it. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That just means that we're very, very early on in the cryptocurrency stage. And if the market cap is fairly high and those numbers are low, it can also give a bad indication as well. So with that being said, green tick so far for Karura. Let's move on. So let's begin with the market cap. Now, Karura's market cap is currently 83 million US dollars, and this constitutes it as a small cap cryptocurrency, just falling out of the micro cap $50 million cutoff that I like to go for. Now, that's fine. $83 million is still a tiny cryptocurrency, whether you like it or not. Now, the thing with this is I go for these cryptocurrencies because it's easier multiplying 83 million twice to 2x investment rather than it is a 1 billion market cap cryptocurrency to 2x. Obviously, that needs an additional $1 billion injected. And of course, it's cryptocurrency. This happens all the time. But you imagine injecting that $1 billion into a coin with an 83 million market cap, and this is how people become millionaires off a $1,000 or $2,000 investment. Now, of course, with a smaller cap cryptocurrency, you're prone to more volatility. However, I see Karura as a longer term play regardless, set and forget, and obviously accumulate more in a bear market situation. So for me, I'm not too worried with volatility. I believe in this project for sure in the long term, and continue watching this video for more reasons why. So therefore, that constitutes a green tick for the market cap. And now for the 24-hour trading volume, we can see here that it's $8 million, which pretty much means it's a 10-to-1 ratio in correlation with the market cap, which also gives it a green tick. Now, if you are unfamiliar with how I got that 10-to-1 ratio, please wait for my hidden gem video course, where I will explain this in detail. Now, I constitute a good cryptocurrency, or a healthy trading volume, should I say, as a 10-to-1 ratio or lower. If it's higher, that's okay. I'll still pass it. But the lower the better. This pretty much means the cryptocurrency is healthy, it's being traded, and it's not necessarily dead. So moving to the final column here, we've got price versus circulating supply versus max supply. Now the current price is $9.73. The current circulating supply is 8.6 million tokens. And the max supply is 100 million tokens, meaning the total amount of tokens that will be in eventual circulation. So the price with correlation to the circulating supply, I believe, is undervalued. If we take something like Bitcoin, for example, that currently has about 18 million tokens in circulation, and the price is where it is, we can kind of understand things. Now, obviously, Bitcoin compared to Karura is a bit of a stretch, and that obviously has to do with the market cap playing into it as well. Remember, Karura is only $83 million. It is a small cap cryptocurrency, but I believe the price is actually undervalued right now. And obviously, the more the simple supply and demand situation plays up here, once Karura proves itself in the Kusama ecosystem and the DeFi projects actually are functioning correctly and everything is released and partnerships become more apparent, we are going to see the Karura ecosystem and the price absolutely skyrocket. Now, this is exactly what I like to see when I'm looking for my hidden gems, a cryptocurrency that is on a limited amount of centralized exchanges. Now, there are some notable ones that you're going to probably be familiar with here, like KuCoin, which is a top 5 exchange. Also Kraken, and notable ones are Gate.io and OKX. Now, these guys are some decent centralized exchanges, but the two main ones I look for are Binance and Coinbase. And if they're not on there, then a lot of the market is missing out. And as we know, when it does launch on these exchanges, we see the price skyrocket, obviously because it's just how they work. That's just the listings on those two big guys. And also because it's accessible to more people, which is common science, if you could even call it science. But Either way, it is absolutely fantastic because this keeps the market cap low because it's out of the hands of more people. So you're going to also know there's no decentralized exchanges listed on here. And that's because obviously Karura is its own blockchain and doesn't fall under an ERC20 or a BEP20 style token. Now let me read to you the ICO and IDO launches. So the ICO was on the 8th to the 22nd of June on Acala's website with a price of $3 per token. Now, as we're going to be able to see in a second, the coin traded at just about $3 for quite a while after its IDO, and that would have been a great time to pick it up. Obviously, we've missed that. But even now, the coin is trading at just over 3x the ICO price, which is just unbelievable. It is a fantastic time to pick this up. And if you know me, I always say a cryptocurrency that is between a 10 to 20x its ICO, of course being a good coin, is always a good time to begin accumulating. Now, the IDO was on the 21st of July on some of these centralized exchanges listed here. Now, I could not find any details on which exchange it IDO'd on. However, this is really not that important information. So taking a look at the chart, we can see it actually looks quite beautiful to begin with. We can see that the coin is creating higher lows and it is beginning to pick up a bit of steam from the investors. And this is a great indication for me, at least, that this coin is actually in the eyes of a lot of people. So let's just look at some of the basics. Now, the coin actually states that its all-time low was $1.90, but this would have been sometime when the IDO launched, and CoinGecko, which I'm using here, would have picked it up at around that price. So realistically, let's just say it began trading at $3, which was the IDO or ICO, price. So we can see here, the $3 mark was pretty much trading sideways for 9 days before we saw a lift off and an eventual basically sideways movement for around a month and 9 days here, which would have been a great time to begin dollar cost averaging had we had known about this coin a few months ago. So either way, we then saw an eventual launch up to the all-time high of $13.20 before where we are now, pretty much traveling between the $8 and $10 mark, which I believe will be trading in that channel for around a month, maybe a little bit less, depending on what Bitcoin decides to do and what the market decides to do. No one really knows if a bear market's looming or if we're going to see Bitcoin shoot up in price dramatically like we have the last few bull markets. Right now, at least at the time of recording this video, Bitcoin's at $41,000 and everyone's a bit on edge about that. So we're not entirely sure. That's why I always say dollar cost averaging is the smartest decision to make, and putting your final position into a coin at this stage is, let's face it, a bit of a stupid idea. So with that being said, guys, take that into consideration. I always suggest dollar cost averaging. And my final thoughts on the chart, as I started with, I think it looks absolutely beautiful, and I think that investors are beginning to see this coin for what it is, and it's picking up steam. Now, moving to the nitty gritty, an important topic to always discuss is a token's tokenomics, economics, and governance model, as this is going to give us a great indication of who has access to how many tokens, when these tokens may be available for these people to use, and also any sort of governance model that may incentivize us to holding or staking the native token. Additionally, the typical memes where you got the pump and dump guys, when you invest in a cryptocurrency and it dumps 20%, this is going to be also evident in the tokenomics, as big whales that may have access to some of their tokens may want to take profit and dump the coin a little bit, therefore moving the coin 10-20%. And had you known that this was possibly going to happen in, say, week 1, holding off to week 2 is always a smart idea, and that's what this information is going to tell you. So let's move into it now. So excuse me for reading off my screen, but I can't remember the exact percentages off the top of my head, so let's just dig into it. Now, starting off with the left-hand side, the overall distribution. So the community has access to a total of 60.87%, which is fantastic. And I'm going to be breaking this down again in a second on the chart on the right. Now, the early backers have 18.33%, and the general backers have 10.8%, and the founding team has a 10% stake. Now, as we can see, the community breakdown on the right-hand side has 34% given to the parachain auction and reward liquidity program, 5% to the ecosystem's development, 10.25% for the reward reserved, which Karura will be using in the future to grant active network participation, and also 11.60% to the treasury and reserve, which will be used to encourage growth within the network. So what does this all mean? Well, essentially, it is a fantastic piece of information because this is telling us that a large amount of the supply is in the hands of the community network. So that is pretty much what we want to see. We don't want to see a large amount given to the venture capitalists and backers, as these are the people that can dump the cryptocurrency if obviously given a large amount of the supply. Now, in saying that, they do have quite a large amount. They do have 29.13%, but it's worth noting that these guys are really, really big names in the space, so they don't just dump a cryptocurrency whenever they get the chance. And also, this is diversified across a large, I'm talking large amount of VCs, which I'll be covering in a little bit as well. Now, again, it's also very, very important that these guys are in the game to make money. So pretty much them pulling out a position very, very short in this bull market or even the next bull market is a very, very silly idea, and they understand this. Remember, I believe, and I think they also know, that Karura is a long-term play, and they're not going to be selling themselves short at a market cap of 83 million. Even if this coin went to $1 or $2 billion market cap, I think this coin has a large amount of room to grow even from there. So keep that in mind. Now, as I've pretty much mentioned to you, the vesting schedule is very, very important because this is going to give us information on what pool has access to how many of their tokens and exactly when. So this may save us some money and time if we invest in, say, week 1 and of course week 2 they might sell off, and then we're stuck with negative 20% from our initial investment. So of course, waiting that extra week just to be safe is always a good option, and this is what this tells us. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this and how to read any sort of vesting schedule, please wait for my Hidden Gem course where I'll be uncovering this and breaking it down in layman's terms so you can understand it. Now, I'm going to only be covering the founding team, the backers, and the early backers in this example because those are the entities that are going to actually be the ones we should be looking out for the most, because they're the ones that can sell a large amount of their tokens. The rest is all sort of community network driven. Okay, so let's begin. Excuse me, I'm going to have to look at my computer screen again, but let's begin with the founding team. Now, they will have an 18-month lockup period, followed by a consistent release for the next 18 months thereafter. Now, the early backers will have a 12-month equivalent of that, and the backers will have a 1-month lockup, followed by an even release for 5 more months. So what does this mean for you and I? Well, essentially, this means that we're going to have to ensure we are prepared for a potential sell-off at the 12-month and 1-month period. Now, as we can obviously tell, the 1-month period for the backers has already come and gone, and we've seen nothing but upwards price action in actually a rapid fashion. Now, this goes back to what I was saying previously, that the backers aren't going to just throw away their great positions for a very small gain. No, they're going to be most likely holding for the remainder of this bull market and possibly sell off at the top of the next. However, by then, most people expect crypto to have reached mass adoption, and therefore we may not see another huge crypto winter. So basically, my suggestion to you, even though it's not financial advice, is to begin dollar cost averaging in, and at that time, begin ladder selling out of your positions. Now, the governance model for Karura is quite simple, yet offers a wide variety of use cases, and they can all be seen on screen now. So let me read them to you. So first of all, we have powering the transaction fees and the smart contract execution, and the transaction fees such as the bring your own gas option will always be rerouted to the DEX and swapped in the backend to KAR tokens. So the user is still paying in the token that they're using, okay? But technically it's being swapped to KAR tokens in the backend. Now, the KAR token will also be used to incentivize nodes to do their job. This is pretty well standard in most cryptocurrencies, as well as allow the community to vote, elect council members, and drive the development of Karura. Also, auto-adjust risk parameters such as interest rates and collateral ratios, and finally allows the teams to deploy new substrate palettes on the Karura blockchain by staking the KAR token. So some of these things are pretty standard, and some things like the transaction fees are pretty unique. So again, I think it's actually really, really good on Karura's part here. Now, here we have the Karura roadmap. Now, if you did watch my Acala video, this is going to look pretty familiar to you. It is pretty much the exact same layout. So one thing I wanted to point out before I get into upcoming updates is this beautiful design here. They've got the completed, in progress, and planned update. So I think that's a nice little touch. However, they don't actually have any time frames associated with these. So we kind of have to go off completed and in progress to kind of figure out where we are. And that essentially is here. Now, these are the important updates coming up. Of course, there only is 5 of them anyway, but the most notable ones will be the enable Bitcoin and Ethereum bridges, the autonomous liquid staking, enable into Kusama parachain to parachain transfers, and enable EVM Plus on Karura. Now, these are all huge events coming up that will allow us to stake the KAR token, which is why I actually didn't mention that in my normal staking incentive slide, and also creates the bridges to BTC and ETH, which is absolutely huge. The EVM linkage is also essential for ETH developers to begin working with Karura, and so is the into Kusama parachain enabled transfers, as this will enable Karura to be able to connect with the thriving Kusama ecosystem. Now, these are all huge updates coming out for Karura, even more of a reason to be so bullish on this coin's future, and I really love the layout of the roadmap here. Again, it would have been great to have some time frames though, but with that being said, let's now move into the website and the socials. So here we have the website. Now, one thing I love about websites is a simplistic design that has dark features. I'm just a dark feature type person, and a website that obviously accomplishes that is going to make me more happy, but then again, it's not the same for everyone, so keep that in mind. Anyway, let's move through this from top left to bottom right as I normally do. So we can see here all the necessary links. Now, this is actually, if you look at the top URL here under the Acala network, and the subheading is Karura. So this really isn't its own necessarily website, but its own subheading. This actually falls under the Acala Foundation. So theoretically, it's actually a subsidiary under that foundation. Now, anyway, we can see here the Acala links, the Karura links, resources, products, foundation, learn, and apps. Now, obviously, Karura is a working product and is out, whereas Acala is not. So we can actually go into the apps here and have a quick look, which I'm not going to do for the sake of the video length. Now, let's just move down. So reimagine DeFi possibilities. Meet Karura's all-in-one DeFi platform to help you swap, borrow, lend, earn, and more with all micro gas fees. So if we actually open the app, it's going to look exactly like this. Now, if you did want me to do a dive into what this actually looks like, where the UI, I can do that for you guys. I've actually had it, I had to download a Polkadot extension to actually be able to do this. And it's very, very simplistic. The design is as it looks like here. It looks very, very clean, and I'm absolutely happy with what it looks like. So moving down here, what is Karura? This is going to pretty much give you all the information I already have given you, and the subheadings I had also listed to you before in regards to liquid, swap, and the kUSD stablecoin, which is the primary utilities of the Karura platform. Now, if we move down here, again, more micro gas fees accepted in any token. So again, things I have all mentioned to you already. And we can see the Karura and Acala team. So as I've mentioned to you before, pretty much more or less the exact same team for both. Again, they fall under the Acala Foundation. Now, moving down, again, backers, these guys are on both of the coins, so they're pretty much merging, which is also cool to see, and it also makes it so pretty interesting because both of these sister networks are working as one under the one foundation, so one's success will see the other's success. Now, we've got some more links down here to some of the socials, which I'm going to be covering now. So as we can see, the Twitter page currently has 78,000.8 followers, which is fantastic. A cryptocurrency with this many followers is always a big green tick in the box. This pretty much means that there is a healthy amount of people following the coin. Any sort of posts or updates are going to see a lot of eyes and gain a lot of attention, therefore pushing the price up. So if we can pick these updates out before the mass market, we're going to see some great gains. And moving on from here, the Telegram has 12,000 members, and I like to do a little comparison. So the members on the Telegram into the members on the Twitter page. And if this has a nice healthy range, I like to use the 10-to-1 ratio as well. It also indicates to me that there is a healthy amount of people in the Telegram, which there is. It's about more or less a 6-to-1 ratio. So that is obviously very, very healthy. Now, the Telegram is where the diehard fans usually meet, talk, and connect. And so having 12,000 people of diehard fans in Karura's Telegram is absolutely fantastic. Now, the last piece of information I want to point out to you here is the Medium page. Now, as we can see, it's not actually dedicated to its own Medium page. It is, again, under the Acala Foundation, or let's just say Acala's actual Medium page, which is fine. I mean, they do list a lot of the Karura updates on here, as we can see here. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, I would like a little bit of separation between Acala, or at least the Acala Foundation, because people just see Acala and presume it is the Acala coin and aren't going to really look into Karura on Acala's page, if that makes any sense. So I would like them to diversify here and kind of go off under the heading of Acala. I think, again, it's great they're working together, but at least the social platforms should be separated, and I'm sure you guys can agree there. So now we have the partners, and as you can see, there is quite an extensive list, and that's because all these partners actually fall under the Acala Foundation, which will provide these partners to both Karura and Acala, seeing as though they're sister nets and more or less the exact same project, except on different blockchains. Now, obviously, some partners are going to vary because of the different blockchains, but more or less they're the same. Now, if we're going to list off some of the more important partners, we have Ren, Plasm, Moonbeam, which I'll be doing a video on later this week, Chainlink, and ChainX, obviously amongst a whole list of others. Now, these partnerships all hold a valuable place in both ecosystems because they provide extra security and interoperability, which is absolutely paramount for the success of Karura. Now, if you did want to do some more research on the individual partners, I do suggest going to the likes of the Medium page. Obviously, it'll be Acala's Medium page, as I already mentioned this to you in the previous slide. However, they obviously are on both sister nets, so it more or less is the same, and it'll probably mention it to you in the Medium article as well. Now, if I were to rate this, I would give it a 10 out of 10. Now, the reasoning for that, and you might be wondering, well, hang on, Kyron, you rate cryptocurrencies with better partners a lot lower, and the reasoning for that is because the partnerships are absolutely crucial, as I said, for the security, interoperability, and a whole list of others, inevitably bringing the success to Karura and Acala. I couldn't find one partnership here, at least in my own research, that I kind of queried and went, hang on, what is this doing in here, like I did with one partnership, for example, with Veracity. So even though they might not have a smash hit list of partners, each and every single partnership I found that had a great use case for both networks. Now, in saying that, this list is obviously going to be expansive, and as these two networks begin to grow and wanting to include themselves onto more blockchains, we're going to see this list grow, and obviously more partners will then flood in. So with that being said, let's now move into the backers. So if you've been in the cryptocurrency space a long time, or you're familiar with my videos, you are going to know that this list is an absolute S tier class of investors that you literally do not see all investing in one coin, and when they do, that's pretty much both green flags going up saying, hey, hang on, this has to be a smash hit cryptocurrency, or at least a very promising one, especially when you have a top 1 or top 2 exchange like Coinbase. A future listing on this would absolutely be huge for any cryptocurrency, as we all should know. Now, what is the important reasons why we should be looking at the investors? Well, investors give the cryptocurrency capital to sustain itself through a bear market where the retail investors like you and I are few and far between. So this is also going to give the retail investor a great opportunity to understand who and why a venture capitalist firm who is literally designed to create its investors more money, why they're invested in a cryptocurrency, okay? So this is going to give us the confidence to say, hang on, let's invest in this because A, B, and C, who are well-known venture capitalist firms, are invested in this cryptocurrency. They've got to know something. At least if we don't, sometimes even on the Medium article, they'll list why. So again, I would have to give this list an absolute big 10 out of 10. I can't fault it. And it's very rare to see so many big names across a list like this. I want to also stress how crucial this is for a cryptocurrency that plans to constantly maintain a parachain slot. Obviously, this is going to cost lots of money, and although Karura does have its decentralized sovereign wealth fund treasury to help with this, I still think it's going to actually come short, possibly in the next 2 years, as this cryptocurrency begins to gain traction. So having VCs is very important. So I just want to quickly point out that Karura has successfully won the Kusama parachain auction, which is so huge. Now, this was absolutely necessary for the immediate success of Karura, and I am so pleased they had actually won a spot. I just thought I'd point this out for anyone that was left wondering. So closing off here, what are my final thoughts on Karura? Well, let's put things in a perspective and take a look at the macro first. You see, Karura is planning to be the DeFi hub on Kusama, which is one of the fastest and most scalable blockchains to date. Now, Kusama will see success far into the future and for so many reasons, and for time's sake, I'm not going to go too far into this. Now, with the success of Kusama, you will see success on Karura if it is successfully embedded as an integral part of the network. Now look, if you have a cryptocurrency that is offering a stablecoin, liquid use cases for staked Kusama tokens, including loans and other DeFi incentives, as well as a DEX that allows for cheap and fast token swaps using literally any token as gas, well, you have a pretty capable project on your hands, especially if this is adopted by all other DeFi projects on the network. Now, it all sounds so appealing, and I don't see why Karura would have any issue with their vision being the all-in-one DeFi hub of Kusama. Now, let's not forget that Karura has its sisternet Acala on Polkadot, basically mirroring the exact same use cases. Now, these projects will work in tandem to offer interoperability across DeFi like nothing we have seen before, and I know I do say that a lot, but I mean it. Once the connection is made to Ethereum and the EVM compatibility is made, developers will be able to ensure DeFi is unified and one step closer to a mass adoption system, which, if you know me, is what I really like to see. Now, the backers and partners are literally second to none, and there is quite a large community supporting the coin, so I deem these all huge pluses for Karura. Now, I firmly believe this is a small cap cryptocurrency that has all the fundamentals to make it a powerhouse investment, and I believe in the short and the long-term success of Karura. Now, this will be one of those coins I guarantee you'll be bragging about holding when you've roughly 100x'd in the next bull market. So everyone, my overall rating for Karura would have to be a 10 out of 10. I know, what a surprise. I really can't fault these guys even if I was trying to. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys did pick up some interesting thoughts from watching this video. I hope I've introduced you to Karura and allowed you to do some more research yourself so you can consider investing in this coin. Now, if you have made it to the end of this video, I want to also let you guys know my Telegram will be starting up soon, and as I've mentioned, my Hidden Gem video course will be as well. Also, I'm thinking about adding an extra slide in these videos where I actually show you some support levels so you can begin dollar cost averaging at exact price points, just to give you more of an incentive to begin investing. Anyway, thank you all again for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you on my next video.